Yesterday it was one of the hottest days of the year, and thankfully today it is a little bit cooler. But alas, I am in the editing room doing lots and lots of editing, so I'm not even going to be able to really go out today. But I still wanted to chat with you guys and girls and show you something that arrived in the post. I got two really cool boxes from Amazon, and I haven't actually purchased one of these in a long time. But when I saw them, I just could not resist. Awesome, absolutely awesome. One of my favourite movies in recent years is Despicable Me, and we're now up to Despicable Me 3, and just look at this. Unbelievable, look how cute that is. That is just brilliant. So this is Tourist Jerry, and in the other box you're going to probably be able to guess which one this is. Have you guessed yet? Even better. I love it. This is, of course, Tourist Dave. Look at that. Any likeness? So just for now, I've put them up here and up here. I never know with these sorts of things. I have sort of mixed feelings about keeping them in the box or indeed unboxing them. I know that you purchase these things to enjoy, but part of me wants to keep them in the box. That's just crazy. I'll probably get them out later. But anyway, I also made another purchase just recently, which you are not aware of, but one of my videos that you recently watched where I was driving in the car was recorded with this. This is the trusty and very high quality GoPro Hero 5 Black. And I haven't had one of these in the studio before, I don't think, but I wanted to get hold of one purely to create some different angles in the videos I produce. And it's just so nice to have a tiny little camera. I've already got plenty of GoPro mounts in my car. I've also got an external microphone which I set up in my car a long time ago. And this is just a brilliant little action camera, so you'll see a lot of video created with this in the future. Now if you saw my video a few days ago, you'll have seen something called "They Sent Me the Wrong iPad." Now I've already done my review of the 12.9 inch 2017 iPad Pro, and I thought I was ordering a 10.5 inch iPad Pro, and what I received was the 2017 iPad, the 9.7 inch version, non-pro version, the cheap one. And really I wanted the 10.5 inch version so I could share with you my opinion. Now I probably won't do a full review because there's been so many reviews already online that it's sort of pretty pointless going over the same information again and again. And I also think that a lot of reviewers candy coat their reviews now, and it's not very real. You know, it's the same thing just spurted out again and again and again. So I just want to give you my opinion on a few things about the iPad Pro. Some are good and some are bad. So let's take a look. It's on my desk down here. So this is the 10.5 inch iPad Pro, and the first thing I want to talk to you about is a negative about one of the accessories. So not about this hardware, this is about one of the Apple accessories, and that is the smart keyboard. Now for the 12.9 inch iPad Pro I have got the smart keyboard. I will be returning it. The typing experience is just not that great. There's practically no feedback on the keyboard. It's well made and it is a good option because it just works so well with the iPad, but the texture doesn't feel good and I just don't think it's the best choice. Now for example, I would more happily carry this around. This is the Apple Magic Keyboard, the latest version, and it's nice and compact, gives you a really good typing experience, and you could put this in a sleeve and carry it alongside your iPad in a regular case. I've got a 15 to 20 pound case on here that I bought from Amazon, and this is going to give you a much better typing experience than the smart keyboard. And in fact there are plenty of other Bluetooth keyboards available on Amazon which you can purchase for about £20. And there will be a lot more third-party keyboards coming out in the future as well. There's one from Logitech, the Slim Combo, which is an option, but there are loads of manufacturers that are going to jump on this because this is super powerful. That's one of the positive points that I'll come on to shortly. But the actual keyboard for this, the smart keyboard, I can't recommend really. It's okay, it may be the only option at the moment, but long term I would probably wait and get something a little bit better. Now, one other negative on this are that people have been saying how awesome the speakers are. Yes, they are good, but they are not by any means fantastic. They're just acceptable for a tablet. Probably one of the better sort of speakers that you've got in a tablet or small portable computer like this, but they are not fantastic. A lot of people have been saying how amazing they are, and that just simply isn't true. The good things are this new display. Wow, this is a true tone display. It's also got a really high refresh rate, so when you're using apps that support this high refresh rate or require it, then it's going to ramp up to 120 frames per second, and when it doesn't need it, then it's going to ramp back down to conserve battery life. So that's fantastic. The display also goes super bright, so really nice display on this, and also the performance is just amazing. It really is so fast. Now, I'm currently running the developer version of iOS 11 on here, so we've got multitasking, which is really nice. Very cool indeed. This new sort of control or command center, you can adjust the brightness in here as well. This goes very bright. You can also do the volume. One thing that threw me initially was the volume's controllable here, but it wasn't controllable with the controls on the iPad, so that sort of really irked me first. But once you enable that in the sort of settings here, then you can change the volume via the buttons. Now, something else to mention, apart from this really cool multitasking, is that we've also got the new Files app down here, and this actually allows you to control or gain access to the files on either your device or on your iCloud drive, recently deleted. You can even get sort of sharing facilities on here as well, like Dropbox, etc. And you've got an actual file system, so getting files onto here would enable you to do so much more productivity, things like video editing, for example. Now, I'll give you a quick look at some of the apps I've got on here. I've organised this into sort of an Apple folder here with all of the pre-installed Apple apps, and then I use things like OneNote a lot. Also the Notes app from Apple, in combination with the Apple Pencil, that's even more useful now. I've got my Creator Studio, for example, in my photo and video folder. I've got iMovie, Clips, Adobe Sketch, Snapseed and Google Photos. I've sort of tried to slim down the apps I've got installed on here. Plenty in productivity, which are really useful, and also Spark, which is a really good email application. And that's pretty much it I've got installed on it at the moment. There will be more. I'm planning on putting Things 3 on here, which is a really good GTD app, and I'm also planning on putting a video editor on here, and also a really nice photo editor. There's been, I think it was Affinity Photo just released, which people are raving about. The actual performance on this though is brilliant. The battery life, amazing, easily 10 hours between charges, unless of course you're doing something really processor intensive for 7 hours continuously, then I would think that the 10-hour battery life would drop down to something like 7 hours. But for the most part it is really good, but it's not without its faults. Now, one thing I should mention is regarding quality control. When I first got this out of the box and set it up, I wasn't that happy with the display. It seemed to have a yellow tinge down in the bottom right hand corner just here, but when I updated it to iOS 11 I looked at that again and it seemed to have disappeared. Also, the accessories underneath the iPad in the box weren't packed very neatly. They were sort of a bit untidy. Now, it was a sealed box, so I can only assume that's down to Apple's quality control, and I think they're losing their edge on that a little bit. They're not quite as careful with the products that they're releasing just recently. Maybe that's just because they're having to produce them in far greater quantities than they used to. Or maybe it's due to a change in the teams behind the scenes. I'm really not sure. But other than that, I'm really very pleased with this indeed. It is very fast and the performance is amazing. People are saying that this has got a similar performance to a MacBook Pro or a quad-core i7 computer. And if you're going to be doing something like video editing on this, that's going to be absolutely amazing. It really is. So overall, I'm impressed but when people say this is the perfect device, it has got a few shortcomings that I mentioned before. And for content creation, do you really want a tablet, or are you better off sticking with a laptop? I'm fortunate enough to have both, and if I was going to do any serious content creation, I still would revert back to using my MacBook Pro at the moment, but that might change over the next few years, who knows. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that look at the 10.5 inch iPad Pro with the cheap case on it. This is a really good quality case. It's an ESR case. It's got auto sleep wake cutouts on the back for the camera, and it just works extremely well. I'm just waiting for ESR or another company to produce just a back cover so that I've still got access to that smart port for the smart keyboard, and then that gives me an option of adding a third-party smart keyboard, not the Apple one, when something newer is released. But these cheap keyboard cases, in fact I'll leave a link to this one down in the video description, are really very good indeed, and they save you a stack of money compared to what you pay for the Apple equivalent. So anyway, that is it for this video. As I mentioned at the beginning, I am in editing mode all day, so there's not going to be any venturing out today, but this video in fact has ended up longer than I anticipated. Really excited about my Funko Pop Despicable Me 3 vinyl figures. I absolutely love those, and I really do love the 10.5 inch iPad Pro as well. Something I almost forgot to mention is, of course, I've got the 12.9 inch, which I've already done my review on. Comparing the two, if I was to just have one of them, if I had to choose the 10.5 inch or the 12.9 inch, I would probably choose the 10.5 inch. You've got very, very slightly better battery life because it's running a smaller screen, and you've got equally as good performance in a much more manageable package. And I've had the two side by side, and I think I'd pick up the 10.5 inch every single time. I think it's a real sweet spot in size, portability, features and performance. So I hope that helps you a little bit anyway. So let's enjoy this summer weather. It really is fantastic. I hope you are well wherever you are. Drop me some comments, hit that like button. I'll see you in another video very soon.